How's it going, guys? ThunderBuddy 01 here. Do you want to provide extra support to the ThunderBuddy 01 Media Network? Do you have extra cash lying around? Become an official ThunderBuddy superfan today. For just $2.99 a month, you will get access to members-only perks, such as shoutouts, exclusive badges and emojis, priority replies to your comments, and when ThunderBuddy 01 himself feels like it, early access to new videos. Do not delay, join now. You can use the link in the top of the description, or the blue join button. And as always, strike them likes, flood that subscribe button, and twist that notification bell.
Attention all units. We have a code 6 party failing to stop for police. Supervisor requesting units on non-priority calls. Switch over to TAC 2 and monitor the chase.
What? Minor flooding is forecast. Where? Hudson River near Poughkeepsie. When? Until Saturday evening. Additional details at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Thursday. The stage was 3.7 feet. Forecast. The river will reach flood stage later this afternoon. Flood stage is 4.2 feet. http://www.weather.gov/safety/flood. Mostly cloudy with a 40% chance of snow showers. Cold. Highs around 30. Lows 50 to 20. Wednesday, mostly sunny. Cold with highs in the upper 20s. Good weather remains especially in North. What? Moderate flooding disappears from Marshall's County in forecast. Look at the previous flood of activity. Where? Still with the center. Right, but also the reservoirs. April, 22.0 feet. The river's flood waves and parking lot. There's no everywhere. For 45 trillion countries. Thursday is the 14 trillion. Previous forecast. It was expected to fall below flood stage rate tomorrow.
Afternoon. What? Flooding caused by excessive rainfall is possible. Where? A portion of northwestern Connecticut, including the following areas: northern Litchfield and southern Litchfield. When? From Friday evening through Saturday afternoon. Impacts: excessive runoff may result in flooding of rivers, creeks, streams, and other low-lying and flood-prone locations. Additional details: locally heavy rainfall of 1 to 2 inches falling on saturated ground will result in areas of flooding. http://www.weather.gov/safety/flood. You should monitor later forecasts and be alert for possible flood warnings. Those living in areas prone to flooding should be prepared to take action should flooding develop. Here is the extended forecast.
Alright, so I did not grab my camera in time to get the 1050 hertz, but it did go off. This is kind of why I don't like hearing just 1050 hertz tones on certain alerts. Like, flood watches should definitely be same tone. I'm going to see if I can reach out to Upton about that.
Flooding caused by excessive rainfall is possible. Southern Fairfield, southern Middlesex, southern New Haven, southern East London, northeast Essex, including the following areas: East Croydon, eastern Essex, eastern Buffalo, eastern Unionbury, western Bergen, western Essex, western Passaic, and western Union, in southeast New York, including the following areas: northern Westchester, Rockland, and southern Westchester.
Heavy rainfall will fall across the area with a widespread 1 to 2 inches of rainfall with locally high amounts possible. This prevents a heavy rainfall event. Ground protected responding rivers and streams will likely reach or exceed bankfall. In addition, coastal flooding will likely exacerbate flooding. Monitor later forecasts and the alert for possible flood warnings. Those living in areas prone to flooding should be prepared to take action should flooding develop.
These are the 3 p.m. observations. At Iceland Airport, it was mostly sunny. Flood warning is canceled. Warning is canceled. The wind was west at 10 miles an hour. The pressure was 29.82 inches and steady. It was sunny with a temperature of 45 at Farmingdale and 45 at Shirley. In West Hampton, it was mostly sunny with a temperature of 44. And here are the latest observations for southern Connecticut. The skies ranged from mostly sunny to partly sunny, and temperatures were between 44 and 46 degrees. On the Erie waters.
Let's see. Southern Middlesex and southern New London. Southwest to Suffolk, Nassau, and eastern Suffolk. So that'll probably take 10 million years before it gets zoned. And this is literally for Saturday, so that'll be fun.
Coastal flood warning in effect from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday. Watch 2.5 to 3 feet of inundation above ground level expected in vulnerable areas near the large lake and shoreline vulnerable areas near
Coastal flood impacts. Widespread moderate to locally major flooding in vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline Saturday morning with 2 to 2.5 feet. Locally 3 feet of inundation above ground level in vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline Saturday morning with 2.5 feet to 3 feet of inundation above ground level in low-lying vulnerable areas. This will result in road closures and flooding of low-lying property, including parking lots, parks, lawns, and floors and basements of homes directly to the waterfront, including vehicles parked in vulnerable areas near the waterfront more likely to become flooded or submerged. Flooding will likely also expand inland from typical flood-prone areas along the tidal rivers and bays, causing flooding in some areas that typically don't see flooding. Shoreline impacts. Large breaking waves of 12 to 16 feet along along the ocean front will likely result in widespread dune erosion and damage to dune structures. Scattered overwashes are likely, resulting in some flooding of roadways and vulnerable structures behind protected dunes. Isolated breaches or inundation of the barrier island is possible where dune structures have been severely compromised by previous storms. Additional details: peak surge of 3 to 4 feet will be likely between times of high tide Friday evening and Saturday morning. Tidal piling will likely inhibit the recession of water before the Saturday high tide, which will likely cause major flooding 3 feet above ground for areas west to southwest. Winds will likely keep waters elevated well into Saturday afternoon, along with 2 to 3 feet of wave action along the eastern Great South Bay. Residents and coastal communities in this area should look out for the potential invasion of coastal flooding 3 feet of inundation above ground, flooding 3 feet of inundation above ground. Saturday. Coastal flood impacts. Widespread water to major flooding of vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline Saturday morning with 2.5 feet. 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday. Coastal flood impacts. Potential for widespread moderate flooding of vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline Saturday morning with 1.5 to 2.5 feet of inundation above ground level in low-lying vulnerable areas. This would result in numerous road closures and cause widespread flooding of low-lying property, including parking lots, parks, lawns, and homes, businesses with basements near the waterfront. Vehicles parked in vulnerable areas near the waterfront would likely become flooded. Flooding will also extend inland from the waterfront along tidal rivers and bays. Shoreline impacts. Breaking waves of 4 to 8 feet are possible during the Saturday morning high tide. This would result in beach erosion and minor damage to shoreline structures, as well as wave splashover onto shoreline roads and properties. Additional details. Saturday morning will be key to the water level forecast. This will be refined over the next 24 to 36 hours. Take the necessary actions to protect flood-prone property. If travel is required, do not drive around barricades or through water of unknown depth. Winds will likely keep waters elevated well into Saturday afternoon, along with 2 to 3 feet of wave action along the eastern Great South Bay. Residents on coastal communities coastal flood warning in effect from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday. Lake to West Island sees 1.5 feet of inundation above ground level expected in vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline in the afternoon. Where? Southern Middlesex and southern New London counties. When? From 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday. Coastal flood impacts. Potential for widespread moderate flooding in vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline Saturday morning. Potential for 2 to 2.5 feet of inundation above ground level in low-lying vulnerable areas. This would result in numerous road closures and cause widespread flooding of low-lying property, including parking lots, parks, lawns, and homes, businesses with basements near the waterfront. Rain likely. Vehicles parked in vulnerable areas near the waterfront would likely become flooded. Flooding would also extend inland from the waterfront along tidal rivers and bays. Runoff from heavy rainfall could exacerbate flooding issues along tidal rivers. Shoreline impacts. Potential for breaking waves of 3 to 5 feet during the Saturday morning high tide. This would result in beach erosion and some damage to shoreline structures, as well as wave splashover onto shoreline roads and properties. Riverine impacts. Freshwater runoff coinciding with the Saturday morning high tide could exacerbate street and property flooding issues along tidal reaches of rivers in southeastern Connecticut. Additional details: the timing of a wind shift from southeasterly to southwesterly gales in relation to the time of high tide Saturday morning will be key to the water level forecast. This will be refined over the next 24 to 36 hours. Take the necessary actions to protect flood-prone property, as well as wave travel is required. Do not drive around barricades or through water of unknown depth. Freshwater runoff coinciding with the Saturday morning high tide could exacerbate street and property flooding issues.
protect flood-prone property. If travel is required, do not drive around barricades or through water of unknown depth.
Man, that was just insane. There was a triple header on WXM80 and I think 2 double headers on WXJ42 and KWO35. That was just insane.
From early this morning to early Monday morning to a 6.9. At 12:55 a.m., Practical State was 6.9 feet.
The river will
Lots of flooding is forecast.
of 7 feet.
The river will oscillate around the flood stage of 7 feet, with a maximum value of 7.4 feet early Saturday afternoon.
The vicinity of
At 7 feet, flooding is likely in the vicinity of Meadow Road, Route 17, and Gilbert Road section of Portland.
close.
A portion of this roadway will likely be closed.
Portland Fairgrounds.
This includes the Extreme Club of Portland Fairgrounds.
Period of swift river flow
Loading
during
this
this
should prepare for a period of swift river flows during this period.
for the Connecticut River.
The flood warning is now in effect for the Connecticut River north middle Adam from early this morning to early Monday morning.
In Sandy Hook, high tires at 7:44 p.m. Thursday, 8:05 a.m. Friday, and 8:30
Here is the official National Weather Service forecast.
This evening to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturday. West, southeast winds 25 to 40 miles per hour with gusts up to 60 miles per hour expected. Where? In Massachusetts, northern Berkshire County. In New York, eastern Rensselaer County. In Vermont, Bennington County. When? From 10 p.m. this evening to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturday. Impacts. Damaging winds will blow down trees and power lines. Widespread power outages are expected. Travel will be difficult, especially for high-profile vehicles. Additional details. The strongest wind gusts will occur in higher terrain areas and along north and west-facing slopes. People should avoid being outside in forested areas and around trees and branches. If possible, remain in the lower levels of your home during the windstorm and avoid windows. Use caution if you must drive. Eastern Standard Time Saturday.
That was double.
West, southeast winds 25 to 35 miles per hour with gusts up to 60 miles per hour expected. Where? In Massachusetts, southern Berkshire County. In New York, eastern Columbia County. When? From 10 p.m. this evening to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturday. Impacts. Damaging winds will blow down trees and power lines. Widespread power outages are expected. Travel will be difficult, especially for high-profile vehicles. Additional details. The strongest wind gusts will occur in higher terrain areas and along north and west-facing slopes. People should avoid being outside in forested areas and around trees and branches. If possible, remain in the lower levels of your home during the windstorm and avoid windows. Use caution if you must drive. Wind warning in effect from 8 p.m. this evening to 5 a.m. Saturday. Wind advisory in effect from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday. What? For the high wind warning, southeast winds 30 to 40 miles per hour with gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour expected. For the wind advisory, southwest winds 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour expected. Where? In Delaware, Delaware beaches. In New Jersey, eastern Monmouth, Atlantic coastal Cape May, coastal Atlantic and coastal ocean. When, for the high wind warning, from 8 p.m. this evening to 5 a.m. Saturday. For the wind advisory, from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday. Impacts, damaging winds will blow down trees and power lines. Widespread power outages are expected. Travel will be difficult, especially for high-profile vehicles. Additional details, southeast winds will increase this evening. Extremely saturated soil due to previous rainfall events may result in trees and power poles being more susceptible to wind. Sporadic wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour are possible along the immediate coastline. Winds will diminish somewhat and shift to the west Saturday morning with gusts up to 50 miles per hour. People should avoid being outside around trees. Use caution if you must drive. The coastal waters forecast from Sandy Hook. Coastal flood warning in effect from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday. What? 1 foot inundation above ground level expected in vulnerable areas. For the Saturday morning high tide. Where? Southern Fairfield and southern New Haven counties. When? From 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday. Coastal flood impacts. Widespread moderate flooding in vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline Saturday morning. Inundation above ground level and low line in vulnerable areas. Widespread flooding in low line or rain including parking lots, parks, lawns, and homes and businesses for basements near the waterfront and for vehicles parked in vulnerable areas near the waterfront would likely become flooding. Flooding will also extend inland from the waterfront along tidal rivers and the shoreline impacts. Breaking waves of 2 to 4 feet during the Saturday morning high tide along coastal properties. Riverbank impacts. Freshwater runoff coinciding with the Saturday morning high tide along tidal ranges and southwestern rivers and Westchester and coastal Westchester. With the Saturday morning high tide. Additional details at the timing of wind shift from southeasterly to southwesterly gales in relation to the Saturday morning will be able to keep the water level forecast. Saturday morning will keep the water level forecast between times of high tide of evening and Saturday morning with a steady falling tide of wind shift Saturday morning. Earlier and more strong wind shift. Flood levels have moderate or stronger. Take the necessary actions to protect flood protection. If travel is required, do not drive around barricades. Coastal flood warning remains in effect from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Warning remains in effect from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Inundation above ground level expected in vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline. Expected in vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline. Where? Northeast to 6 p.m. Saturday. Coastal flood impacts. Widespread moderate flooding of vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline Saturday morning. With 1.5 to 2.5 feet of inundation above ground level in low-lying vulnerable areas. This will result in numerous road closures and cause widespread flooding of low-lying property, including parking lots,
Max on.
lawns, and homes, businesses with basements near the waterfront.
Wait, hold on. What was the timing on that? 2 hours and 27 minutes. There was no way that was 2 hours and 27 minutes. I guess there's a cap on how long that can be towed for. That's my assumption, at least. Yeah. So, I was literally going to import the footage off of this camera. I was literally getting ready to import the footage from pretty much today, really. As you can kind of tell by my little Mac here. I say little, this thing's 16 inches, but yeah. The timing of everything.
weird.
Tonight to late tomorrow evening. What? Minor flooding is forecast. Where? Hudson River near Poughkeepsie. When? From late tonight to late tomorrow evening. Additional details at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Friday. The stage was 0.0 feet. Forecast. The river is expected to crest at around 4.5 feet with tonight's high tide cycle. The river will drop back below flood stage late tonight into Saturday morning with the low tide cycle, but another crest at around 5 feet is expected with Saturday afternoon high tide. Flood stage is 4.2 feet. http://www.weather.gov/safety/flood. Afternoon to Monday evening. What? Minor flooding is forecast. Where? Wanacue River at Wanacue Dam. When? From this afternoon to Monday evening. Impacts at 5.0 feet. Open adjacent land begins to flood. Waters rise around Wilderness Island Park. At 6.0 feet, John East. Merton Park begins to flood. Hirschfield Park floods. The athletic fields begin to take on water. Parking lots in Hirschfield Park Place floods. Carlo Field floods. At 7.0 feet, Back Beach Park, Indiana, Wanacue begins to flood. The light industrial area off of Lakeside Avenue in Pompton Lakes floods. VFW Way in Pompton Lakes begins to flood. Backyards flood on Henderson Court and Hill Court in Pompton Lakes. Additional details, at 6:10 a.m. Saturday the stage was 5.4 feet and rising. Forecast, the river is expected to rise above flood stage this afternoon to a crest of 6.9 feet tomorrow morning. It will then fall below flood stage early Monday afternoon. Flood stage is 6.0 feet. Flood history, this crest compares to a previous crest of 6.9 feet on March 19, 1983. http://www.weather.gov/safety/flood. Additional details, at 8:17 a.m. Saturday, the stage was 7.2 feet. Thankful stage is 8.0 feet. Forecast, the river is expected to rise above flood stage late this morning to a crest of 10.1 feet this afternoon. It will then fall below flood stage late this afternoon. Flood stage is 9.0 feet. Flood history, this crest compares to a previous crest of 10.1 feet on April 1st, 1987. http://www.weather.gov/safety/flood. Here is the official National Weather Service forecast for eastern Long Island. Here is the flood warning. Flood warning in effect until just after midnight tonight. What? Minor flooding is forecast. Where? Still River at Brookfield. When? Until just after midnight tonight. Impacts at 12.0 feet. Water floods lowlands along the Still River. Additional details at 8:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturday the stage was 11.5 feet. Forecast. The river is expected to rise above flood stage this afternoon to a crest of 12.1 feet this afternoon. It will then fall below flood stage this evening. Flood stage is 12.0 feet. http://www.weather.gov/safety/flood.
Flood warning in effect until just after midnight tonight. What minor flooding is forecast? Where? Still River and Brookfield. When? Until just after midnight tonight. Impacts at 12.0 feet. Water floods lowlands along the Still River. Additional details. At 8:45 a.m. Saturday, the stage was 11.5 feet. Forecast. The river is expected to rise above flood stage this afternoon to a crest of 12.1 feet this afternoon. It will then fall below flood stage this evening. Flood stage is 12.0 feet. http://www.weather.gov/safety/flood. Here is the tag information. What? Up to 2.5 feet of inundation above ground level in vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline. Where? Southern Westchester, Bronx, Northwest Suffolk counties. When? Until 3 p.m. this afternoon. Ground level expected in vulnerable impacts. Widespread moderate flooding of vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline this morning, with 2 to 2.5 feet of inundation above ground level in low-lying, vulnerable areas. This will result in numerous road closures, low-lying property including parking lots, parks, lawns, and homes, businesses with basements near the waterfront. Vehicles parked in vulnerable areas near the waterfront would likely become flooded. Flooding will also extend inland from the waterfront along tidal rivers and bayous. Take the necessary actions to protect flood-prone property and destroyed. Travel is required. Do not drive around barricades or through water of unknown depth. Tuesday, cloudy.
All right.
Roadways and vulnerable structures behind protective dunes is possible.
Okay, so I just finished running an errand earlier, and Upton decided to surprise me with not one, but 2 coastal flood warnings. One of them I could not get because I was driving, and understandably so, I'm driving. But I got one of them right as I pulled into my driveway, and I recorded that on my phone. And this one went over KW035 while I was out.
Coastal flood warning in effect until 2 p.m. this afternoon. What? 2 to 2.5 feet of inundation above ground level in vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline. Where? In New Jersey, Hudson, Eastern Essex, and Eastern Union counties. In New York, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Brooklyn counties. When? Until 2 p.m. this afternoon. Impacts: moderate flooding of vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline this morning, with 2 to 2.5 feet of inundation above ground level in low-lying, vulnerable areas. This will result in numerous road closures and widespread flooding of low-lying property, including parking lots, parks, lawns, and homes, businesses with basements near the waterfront. Vehicles parked in vulnerable areas near the waterfront will likely become flooded and destroyed. Flooding will also extend inland from the waterfront along tidal rivers and bayous. Take the necessary actions to protect flood-prone property. If travel is required, do not drive around barricades or through water of unknown depth.
Glad I didn't walk off that far. Holy crap.
Coastal flood warning in effect until 3 p.m. this afternoon. What? Up to 2.5 feet of inundation above ground level in vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline.
Where? Southern Westchester, Bronx, Northwest Suffolk, Northern Queens, and Northern Nassau counties. When? Until 3 p.m. this afternoon. Coastal flood impacts: widespread moderate flooding of vulnerable areas near the waterfront and shoreline this morning, with 2 to 2.5 feet of inundation above ground level in low-lying, vulnerable areas. This will result in numerous road closures and cause widespread flooding of low-lying property, including parking lots, parks, lawns, and homes, businesses with basements near the waterfront.
Vehicles parked in vulnerable areas near the waterfront would likely become flooded. Flooding will also extend inland from the waterfront along tidal rivers and bays. Take the necessary actions to protect flood-prone property. If travel is required, do not drive around barricades or through water of unknown depth.
Warning remains in effect.